Live from Orlando, Florida, you're now listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Orlando Magic fans. Join us every week for a unique fan perspective on all of the latest Magic news and updates. The show starts now.
Let's get it started here in 3, 2, 1.
What's up, Magic fans? Welcome back to another episode of the OZone Podcast, brought to you by DraftKings and part of the Basketball Podcast Network. We are your hosts, Al, myself, Anthony. You guys are getting this episode Friday, July 1st, but we are recording just hours post free agency. And today we're joined by the magnificent Court Cousins, Jason Peach and Kyle. What's up, guys?
Hey, thanks for having us, gentlemen.
Yeah, really excited to have you guys on. If you guys haven't heard of the Court Cousins, they put on an amazing show on YouTube and their standard podcast you can get everywhere where you stream your podcast. But really excited to get you guys on here. It's been a little while. We've been trying to plan this for what seems like a couple months now. So finally got you guys in.
But and you got us on right after having Jeff Welk got in here. That's a big halo to fill.
Oh man, it's big time, big time. But before we get into just the madness of free agency and some of the things that kind of went past this last week, let's get some background. We know that you guys are currently residing in Connecticut. Where did the Orlando Magic come from for you guys? Why did you guys decide to go on this journey?
Yeah, well, our family lived just outside of Orlando, so we would go down all the time when I was a kid, and I went to some of the first games in that first season in '89-90, and I met Terry Catledge at a bank in between games. Like, he was just there, and he waved me and my dad over. He signed one of our hats and shook my hand, and like at that point, I was like, I'm done with my Celtic stuff. I'm all in on this Magic team, and since then, I've just been all about it. So, and then I think he kind of just
I followed along. Yeah, it's my
later.
big cousin, so I'm just following what my cousin does. I want to be cool. And my uncles, his dad would take me to games. My uncles, he doesn't have two dads. I'm just saying, I have other uncles. They would take me to games when I was young too. So growing up and seeing Shaq and Penny, just hooked from there. I mean, how could you not be?
Yeah, absolutely. At a bank, Terry, like the fact that you even knew who he was at a bank, I find that's very impressive.
Oh yeah, he pulled up in a convertible. He had the top down. He was just letting it all hang out. They had just won the night before, which is a rare win for them in that first season. So he was feeling good, and he like noticed that we noticed him and kind of like waved him over. I mean, he was clearly a guy who had some money, so he wasn't trying to be hidden.
Yeah, now I have to know, on your episodes, you guys have this thing called a Rolo update where you guys share a picture of Rolo and it's something that connects you guys and how you guys are feeling. If Robin Lopez doesn't get brought back, are you replacing that segment? Like what is it? Because that's for me, that's a segment that I look forward to.
Yeah, this is a point of contention, man. Yeah, this is we're throwing us curveballs.
It's a curveball.
This is a point of contention, man. We're really crossing all of our fingers, hoping that Weltman brings back Rolo to recline majestically on the sideline there and just view the games and maybe get in, throw a couple hook shots so that we can continue to do our Rolo check-in where we kind of choose a different iteration. I mean, he's been on so many teams, and we try to bend that to how we're feeling for that day and use it as a social emotional check-in for us.
I wouldn't mind freshening it up, to be honest. I love Rolo, but I'm getting tired of finding the same pictures over and over. It's I
was going to say, eventually you're going to have to run out of pictures. Eventually.
Yeah.
He has a lot more pictures than he probably should, but still, we run low.
I believe it. All right, so let's get into all the free agency madness. All right, so the very first thing, the headline story is Kevin Durant asking out. Just from a Brooklyn Nets perspective, where, before they got Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and they were favorites to win an NBA championship, they were an up and coming young team, and they decided to blow it all up to bring in two really big superstars on their team, and then very short lived is all gone out the window. So, just what happens today, Paolo Banchero, also rookie of the year, already starting off strong. He ends up posting a story on his story, a jersey swap of him and Kevin Durant. First and foremost, if you're the Brooklyn Nets, do you kind of regret that decision, or are you happy with that team for even trying to make that distance? And then two, what do you guys think on Paolo even having the hindsight to even try to do something like that?
I'll start, Peach. Let me jump in on this one because
Go ahead.
I was driving in the car today, and we're in Bridgeport, which is like 45 minutes outside the city. So we get the New York City radio, and man, people are devastated. The broadcasters, they are vitriolic angry. They are pissed off. I mean, they are ready to take pitchforks and go to Kevin Durant's house and burn that sucker down. And I don't really blame them. They had a fun playoff team with Kenny Atkinson, the coach, getting those young guys together. D'Angelo Russell was kind of reviving his career after a false start in LA. They had some fun young guys, and they pushed in and were fighting in the playoff. I can't remember if they actually made it in or what it was. They were close. That was a good squad. And then, they blow it up as you should in a big market to get KD and then Kyrie and then James Harden. You trade away all these assets, and now you've kind of mortgaged the future of your franchise, and the guys are just gonna leave. They're just gonna go. Like, do they have no shame? Like, where is your shame, Kevin Durant? Like, step up, be a man. You start something and finish it. I'm just beside myself. I can't believe it.
You can't be upset at the front office. They did their job. Somehow, magically, no pun intended, they were able to bring in James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. You're expecting a championship.
Amazing.
Steve Nash, I'm still a little confused with that hire. But the three of them, you're expecting something. And for them to just blow it up.
They kissed the butts of all these players. They did, like the Steve Nash move that was following Kevin, bringing in Kyrie, who became a headache, who just completely dismantled and was a cancer to that team. That was Kevin Durant. That's what he wanted to do. And then today they also traded a first-round pick for Royce O'Neal. Like
why?
Why? What? And I don't know what's going on with that. With Paolo, I mean, I just love that. I just love it, Paolo. Like, go for it, young fella. Like, he's not afraid to swim with the sharks. You can tell.
Feels
he's
like
ready.
tampering.
Yeah.
He's recruiting. He hasn't even stepped foot officially, and he's already recruiting. What I found funny is that Richard Jefferson ended up commenting and saying, listen, big guy, if this trade does go down, he goes to Orlando. Most likely you're going to Brooklyn.
I like for Peach and I that in the tri-state area, we go when the Magic play the Knicks and the Nets. And it's looking like those Nets tickets are going to be cheap, Peach.
Very cheap.
Yeah, and
I'm for that.
Like, fortunately, it worked out for the Knicks because the Knicks at that moment, they felt like, man, they missed out. Can't believe that they decided to choose the ugly step cousin. See what I did there? And and decided to go with Brooklyn. So it's crazy. Now, do you guys feel like the players have way too much power? It's a little different because Kevin Durant's situation and Kyrie's situation, Kevin Durant's still under contract for 4 years, so it doesn't matter, what Kevin Durant wants. Brooklyn's going to do what Brooklyn wants to do. Kyrie's a little different because he opted into his final year. So who is going to, one, want that headache, and then two, if you try trading into a team that doesn't want to rent him for the year or he doesn't want to stay there, then how much is he really worth, like, in terms of value?
To me, not a lot of value, because I like guys that want to be there, that want to get involved in the community and be a part of the team. And he's never given me that vibe like he's that guy. There's several guys like that in the NBA that are like, yes, they're talented players, but they need to have the ball all the time. They want to score 35, 40 points. They don't really feel part of the team or the community. They're just there doing a job. And that's not, as a fan, that's not really what you want. So, like, you don't really want, you want a guy on your team that can fill it up, but at what cost? And the Nets got to see that cost. And now they have to live with it.
And then luckily for them, they're at least in an okay position because whatever they're going to get for Kevin Durant is going to be a major haul. They still have Ben Simmons, so they can still survive from that. But it makes me kind of reflect and realize how fortunate of a position that we're in, because right now, I would rather have some type of loyalty with the team that we have than just hiring a couple of mercenaries that come in if things don't go their way and then they're out. But kind of moving along with free agency. So it was reported today that the Orlando Magic did sign and bring back Mo Bamba after not tendering him a contract. I know that there was some rumors about maybe us going after another target. In terms of center, there was rumors that maybe Mo Bamba was interested in playing behind Nikola Vucevic again in Chicago. That there was interest in the NBA. Al, what are your thoughts about bringing Mo Bamba back to the Orlando Magic?
I'm excited, man, because for a second yesterday, I was afraid. I'm like, wait, we're going to let him walk and get nothing out of it? Not a second round pick, nothing. So to bring him back at this contract, so we're looking at what, 2 years, 21 million right now. In my opinion, it's a great contract. It gives him time to keep growing in Orlando, keep showing what he can do. And then, hey, you're growing enough. You're liking what we're doing here. Let's pay you when the time comes. But right now, it's still time for you to prove yourself. So we didn't, handicap ourselves salary wise. It's not a long-term contract. And not for nothing, but how many young guys out there can be a better backup center than Mo Bamba in the NBA right now? Especially what he can bring, that shooting, that touch that we need. Well, we're in dire need of shooting, and he brings it to our team. So I think if you tell me that a week ago, Mo Bamba would sign in order the Magic again for 221, I would have been thrilled. So to answer your question, I am thrilled today.
Yeah.
What about Moritz, though? What about Moritz? What you say? What other guy out there could give you the backup center minutes? We got Moritz there sitting in the wings. He's set to make 1.8. I mean, like,
So listen,
yeah,
we got a team option on him, right? So he still
right.
He can still be back with the team. He can still be that person that in case Wendell gets hurt, Mo Bamba gets hurt, which hey, historically they've been hurt in the past. You can get minutes. So hopefully he is back in Orlando. I love the way he plays. He reminds me of MCW. So I love what he brings, that kind of grit and passion. So I do hope that he's back. But on a regular basis, if you tell me Mo Bamba or Wagner, I would prefer to see Mo Bamba continue to grow here in Orlando.
Yeah, I think everybody gets hung up on the fact that Mo Bamba was a high pick. And we need to shed that, okay, he's not the 5th overall pick. We just get over that and realize that he's a backup center, and he's a very good one, and that's what he is now. Stop holding him to that standard that he can't be. Now he's in a spot where he doesn't have to be the face of the franchise, and he seems more comfortable.
Yeah, it's people holding on to those expectations. The reality is that, as great and as much as we all love Wendell Carter, and when he plays like a really big, way bigger than what he is, and he does a lot of things on the floor. At the same time, we know that he's struggled with injuries. So you want to be able to have a player ready to go in the event that something happens that can hold the fort down until Wendell comes back. And Mo Bamba is already comfortable with the system. I personally am shocked that he wanted to come back. Like I'm glad that there was interest for him wanting to come back. At the same time, I always had this perspective that if he had an opportunity to leave to have a new environment and to start fresh, that he would do it. I'm actually surprised that he wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that speaks to the culture that is developing here. I think we got to tip the cap to Jamal Mosley and just the way that he's leading this group of young men who are really coming together and starting to support each other. I think that maybe Mo just is really enjoying being a part of this team, I guess more so than we maybe thought from the outside.
Now, how funny would it be if he signed a deal with the Charlotte Hornets and decided to play back with Clifford? That would be like, that would happen.
Oh my God. At first my brain didn't put that together. And then I was like, oh, that's where Anthony's going. That's cold, Anthony.
And then we transition. So we bring back Mo Bamba, and it is also officially reported that we are also bringing back Gary Harris on a 2-year, $26 million contract. So it looks like, from everything that we've seen, the fan base really wanted to see Gary Harris back. He's a solid veteran. We need to be able to bring veterans around these guys. What are your thoughts on bringing Gary Harris back?
I love
as part of the fan base. We're for it. We've been singing the praises of it for a while that we should bring him back. I mean, we need to have some veteran presence off the bench, and he's the perfect fit for it. We already got him. He already knows our guys. He knows our system. I think we were both a little shocked that he wanted to do that. I think he's guaranteed minutes a lot of other places he goes, but maybe he has an inkling that he can outplay some guys and get those minutes. I don't know.
I think he's used to having that fat bag. Yeah, I mean, he got paid with Denver, and he was probably out there looking, and some teams maybe thinking about a mid-level exception, something in the range of like 6 to 10 mil. And he's like, oh, they're going to give me 13 mil. I got this house payment, this car payment. Like he's probably living, Gary Harris seems like a great guy. I'm not trying to say he's only after that money, but hey, if I was in his position, that like $4 or $5 million extra that looks like we're giving him per year, that's not nothing. So I think he will be okay with his role. I think he should get more minutes, but I understand that we need to see Suggs. We want to give RJ an opportunity. Obviously Cole's going to get in there, but Gary is just a fantastic add. The nose that he has on defense, I think, is just great for these young guys to learn. And I don't think there's a better player for Jalen Suggs to be with every day in practice, with how good Jalen is on defense, playing next to a veteran like that. Oh man, I can't wait to see how Jalen continues.
Yeah,
to
he
improve.
needs to get Gary's shooting skills from the corner, though.
Yeah, he does.
That's true.
Let me ask you guys this real quick. Do you guys think that there's any factor here to do with the culture that's being built in Orlando? So, the front office has been doing an amazing job kind of building this culture, talking about culture. And it finally seems like people want to play in Orlando. Like these free agents that can easily walk out of Orlando and go sign somewhere else. Bamba, Gary Harris most recently. They're coming back. They're playing for us. So what do you think that say about our front office, about the culture, about the team that we're kind of building here in Orlando?
I think that's exactly what you want. And I said that, in a few different places, that I love the moves that Weltman made, just from keeping everything in and not giving away information. Players want to play for an organization that cares about them and isn't going to leak their stuff out to the media. And that's exactly what they're doing. And now that people see we're building something here, teams and guys don't want to leave, that's massive. Because I remember back in the day, Orlando was the place to be. There was no tax in Florida, and big name free agents were always signing. It's like, we lose a couple, all right, we'll get 2 more. Tracy McGrady, Grant Hill, come on in. And it's like, we need to get back to that being an attractive area for free agent. I feel like now we are.
Well, that's the thing. Everybody's all we have to do is get them here, because the minute that we get them to Orlando, they don't leave. Shaquille O'Neal, Grant Hill, JJ, right? Like, they don't leave Orlando. We just got to get them there. As long as we get them.
Anybody ever come back from Orlando and been like, I had a bad time?
Nope.
No.
Look at Terrence Ross.
There's one that I can.
Yeah, Al's favorite player. Al's favorite player, actually.
Indiana Pacers, maybe.
It starts with the LE.
Oh God, freaking
LeBron James.
Oh,
Is that it?
LeBron. Yeah, that guy.
And it's funny that you say that, because the guy that I was thinking of is Channing Frye, but he only thinks that way because of LeBron. So it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
He's brainwashed.
Yeah. So as of right now, it's 8:34 p.m. on our time. It's the same time for you guys. Maybe not. 8:30 on our side, and that's all the news that we've heard out of the Orlando Magic. So it looks like we kept it safe and simple. We brought back Gary, brought back Mo Bamba. Maybe there's some other things in the work, but as of right now, yeah, that's what it seems like. It's running it back. Is there anything that you guys would like to see more of? Is there anything that you want the Orlando Magic to try and pursue? Because it's no secret, Orlando Magic have money to spend, but is there anything that's missing, or are you okay with how it is right now to go into the season?
I'm okay with how it is right now. I know some of the fan base is itching for a little bit more shooting, but I think we're forgetting about Devin Cannady a little bit. And I think that he's going to be a bigger part of the team than maybe people think. Really great player. Shot a crazy percentage from beyond the arc in the G League last year, and showed that he could do it at the pro level, at the NBA level, in the last 10, 12 games that he was up with us, something like that. So I think that we're actually pretty good there. I would like to see us do something like Detroit did, and maybe take on some salary and get some assets that we could use maybe next summer or the summer after, when we're ready to make a more splashy move, or to really assemble or finalize a team that we think is going to make a push deeper into the playoffs. So I'm looking for us to maybe facilitate something, maybe take a little bit on. I don't even know if that's possible now. I haven't looked at the numbers since all this is happening in the moment, but I think something like that would be attractive to me, to get a little bit more future asset.
Yeah, it's reported that we have about 18 million left. So it's important that people remember that, we can still use that money for trades that come in, whether that's now or later on. I believe I even saw Terrence Ross saying somewhere, I believe it was on his Twitch, saying that he doesn't believe that he's going anywhere anytime soon. If he did, it would be around the trade deadline. So I thought that was an interesting comment. Now, you brought up Devin Cannady. It was reported that Devin Cannady is also going to be taking part of the Summer League. We also saw that RJ Hampton will also be part of the Summer League. RJ Hampton is a player that, we believe that there's potential. We believe that there's a really high ceiling for him, but we just haven't seen it yet. Do you like the fact that he on his account is taking the initiative to want to be a part of the summer league and get a couple reps in for the summer.
Yeah, I think RJ he definitely needs to prove himself if he wants minutes in my mind. Like, I don't know where I play him, to be honest. I'd rather try to see Devin Cannady out there and see what he can do. I just don't know where RJ fits for us. So I think he needs to prove himself in the summer league, and he can. But if we're legit trying to win games this season, which I would assume is a little more the direction that we're going to go in, I don't know if he's the guy, to be honest.
Yeah, the fear is that RJ, out of all the young nucleus that we have, that RJ is kind of like that odd man out.
Yeah,
he's the one thing that's kind of like we really just don't know, and if the offer is right or if something just doesn't click, that he may be the first one a part of any deal that we might potentially do.
Yeah, RJ's had a tough go of it, man. I don't think things worked out for him like he hoped when he went to Australia League, but he was playing in New Zealand there. That didn't really go his way. Then he came over. He was a part of that draft year that was all jacked up from COVID. They didn't have the summer league for his first year. So it is very rare for a third-year player to be playing in the summer league if you're kind of an NBA guy. A lot of guys in the summer league are, still 10 years in trying to get on a roster. But for a guy like RJ who was drafted, it's kind of odd. But I do respect that he's going there and really putting in the effort. I think that also throwing him in last year as a ball handler, that's not RJ. I think we saw that pretty quick. And that's what got me kind of down on RJ, seeing him in that position. But as the season went on and then Kel came back and he settled into that 2-guard role off ball, I think if he gets more of that motion off ball, he's so fast. I mean, you can imagine him coming around screens, burning speed, and getting to open shots on the perimeter, where as a knockdown shooter, he was one of our best. If not, was he the best? Did he end up the best, Al?
I think it was top 3 in the team. I can't recall.
Yeah,
right now,
I mean, so that role for him, I think, can work great. And he's got good size for a 2-guard. Especially with some of our other guards, Cole Anthony being a little undersized to play some defense.
It's just unnecessary.
I mean, RJ Hampton.
I love Cole.
RJ Hampton's 6'7", right? That was
exactly.
Right?
Yeah, everyone thought he was like 6'10" last year. Remember, like, as RJ Hampton growing, he keeps growing.
Yeah, but I think that it's going to be at least somewhat exciting just to kind of see him with some of the Orlando Magic players. I think that's going to help kind of break them in, break in the rookies in Houston and Paolo, which I think is awesome. We even saw Paolo in some training videos with C. Brickley working out with Cole Anthony already, which I think is massive. It's huge because it already starts to build some of that excitement. It's my understanding that, Paolo and Cole, they've already somewhat known each other for a couple years. So there's already that bonding that's already building. Al, what do you think about them two working out already together?
It's exciting, man. I think everybody on Twitter, social media in general yesterday was going crazy with the fact that we got to see that duo kind of working together. And don't forget, man, Anthony was on pace to average 20 points a game before that ankle injury that he suffered. And then he came back and we were tanking. So he kind of took it easy and wasn't playing as many minutes, and he kind of wasn't as engaged anymore. So if you can get Cole Anthony at that level and you get Paolo averaging, 16, 18 points a game his rookie season, that's not a bad tandem right there between those two guys. And then, of course, you got Wendell, Franz, Markel, Terrence Ross, Gary Harris off the bench. Like, the team all of a sudden, what we struggled with the last, 6-7 years has always been shooting and offense. All of a sudden, this team looks a lot better overnight by drafting Paolo, by getting Cole to be a little more aggressive and more efficient. And then, hopefully, that progression from Franz, progression from Markel, Wendell. So I think the team is looking really solid. I mean, you want to see that bond. And not for nothing, this is why, to me, Cole Anthony may not be perfect, but what he brings off the court, that personality, that leadership that he brings to this team, I don't care what his flaws are, you cannot teach that. And it's really, really hard to find that in a young guy embracing Orlando the way that he is.
Yes.
Again, people talk about trading him and stuff. I can't even begin to talk about that because why would you? He loves the city. He embraces it. Embrace him as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he embodies the whole heart and hustle, which has been a big part of the the fabric of the Orlando Magic. And I saw a graphic that was going around the internet where people were comparing his stats with Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson signing a crazy contract right now.
Yeah.
So it's like it's crazy how people hold certain people to different standards. And you look in all accounts, Cole Anthony had a really strong start and then kind of dwindled down a little bit, but he's still a hell of a basketball player, whether you believe that he should be a starter, you believe that he's a sixth man. The most important thing is that he is a baller, and he is someone that, again, like you said, Al, he wants to be a part of the Orlando Magic, and he's all about watching this team grow.
Right.
Yeah,
He started changing that culture, like you said,
Exactly.
of people wanting to go there. He's there. He likes it there. He's making it seem like, hey, we're having fun down here. Come join us.
I'm not going to rain on the parade, but I do want to see the efficiency and the shot selection a little bit from Cole. I think at times he kind of gets a little lost and it very spasmodic a little bit.
Is it raining in Connecticut right now?
Get out of here, Storm Cloud.
Okay. We love you, Cole. We love you.
There you go. Now I'm not sure if this occurred before the draft, but Paolo was asked a question. It was one of those quick this or that's that kind of created a little bit of buzz. And the question that was asked to Paolo was, would he rather win 2 rings or 10 All-Stars? And unfortunately, the man said, I'd rather, if I'm being honest, and I'm glad that he's an honest individual, I feel like he should have lied in this moment. But he said, I would rather have 10 All-Stars. Kyle, what are your thoughts? Are you?
Yeah, I mean,
when you hear that, what do you think?
Well, from the fan perspective, it's kind of a letdown because as fans, we want chips. We don't care necessarily about All-Stars. Look at the guy on the shirt, T-Mac. Man was a walking bucket, went to plenty of All-Stars, but those were some lean years at times in terms of winning. So All-Stars don't necessarily equate to winning. But, if Paolo becomes a 10-time All-Star and we can't assemble a squad around him to win a chip, I think that's kind of on us. So I think either of these equations, we're hopefully getting a chip in there. I think,
I'm cool with him saying that, to be honest. It didn't bump me at all because I just feel like if you're the number 1 pick, you have to have that belief in yourself as a player. There's a lot of guys who have won a ring sitting on some bench. Today, I was amazed when I heard Gary Payton won a ring. I forgot he was on a Heat team just hanging out.
That's right.
And picked up a ring. Like, some guys pick up rings when they're not really meaning to get them. So 2 rings isn't quite as meaningful as the 10 All-Star seasons, especially when you're the number 1 overall pick. You're carrying that much more weight with you. So like Kyle said, if he's a 10 in a row year All-Star, but we can't win a ship, that's not on him.
I mean, I feel like the goal should be like, you want to be a 10-time All-Star, but man, optics, man, you want to win that championship. It was a question set up for failure because if he becomes a 10-time All-Star, then successful pick. It worked out. Number 1 pick, 10-time All-Star.
The only way he could have answered that question correctly is if he'd have said, no, I want to win 4 chips.
Exactly.
What do you guys think about Paolo's kind of demeanor? Because a lot has also been made about this, and we're talking about his interview question answering, and a lot has been made about the frowny smile situation. What do you think about his kind of persona at this moment?
It is crazy because it went from us being at war with Toronto Raptor fans for picking a player that we didn't get the player that fell to us, and now we're like, all right, we're gonna take a break from the Raptor fans. Now let's go over here to the Rockets fan. And Rocket fans, they're upset, they're bitter, they really wanted Paolo. We ended up getting Paolo, and they're automatically saying that he didn't want to go to Orlando. Look at his facial expressions, which let's be honest. All right, we get that he wanted to go to Houston. We get it that there was a Seattle connection there. We get all of that, but the man was crying on national television. Like, he was crying. He was in tears. He had man tears on. So, Jason, what did you think?
I think it's amazing that we're talking about the demeanor of a young man who was completely shocked by being the number 1 pick on draft night, is kind of drinking all this stuff in, meeting guys for the first time. To me, honest, he's being professional. What's he supposed to do? Jump up and down and be like, oh my God, you're Chumo Kiki. It's like, he's just being a professional human man. And for a guy his age, I like to see it. Some people just, when they have a resting face, for the ladies, they call it resting bitch face. But he just, when he's got a resting face, he just doesn't have a smile. But let's not hold that against him. It's not like he's not having a good time. Sometimes people forget about the shock value of big moments like this, and get off them. Come on, it's like they're looking for something to complain about.
I mean, the funniest part to me is you talk about them praising Paolo the entire time before the draft. They're getting on us about the fact that he didn't work out for us, that all these things about Rocket fans, right? We draft Paolo instead. And all of a sudden, a switch flipped. Oh my goodness. Paolo sucks. He has a bust potential. He doesn't want to play for Orlando. Jabari's the greatest thing in the world. I'm like, what the heck did just happen? But it just seems like we can't catch a break, like you said, Anthony, from Raptors fans to now Rockets fans. And what are we doing? We're just drafting the guys in front of us. Like, we're not doing anything wrong, but it is what it is. But let me ask you guys this, something about the draft also. We talked about culture. Cole Anthony wanting to be here. Paolo showing support for the city of Orlando already. And then you got Chet Holmgren, who, for some reason, there's rumors out there about him botching his workout and maybe quitting halfway through because he didn't want to be in Orlando. So what are your thoughts on that? Kyle, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm not buying it, man. I just really he botched the workout to go to the team with one of his best buds and then cost himself $3+ million. I mean, that's a bad decision to go to Oklahoma City. Bro. And I've never been to Oklahoma City. I just have ideas of what it might be. And it's not New York City. It's not like he was trying to skip Orlando to go to New York or LA or Oklahoma City. So I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. I think, I don't know where that came from. It was probably another post interview thing where Oklahoma City media was asking him, well, what was going on? He's like, hey, I wanted to come to OKC the whole time. I didn't even do that well in the Orlando workout. And it just got turned upside down. I don't know, but I don't have any grudges against the kid. If we play him when we're down there, I'm not going to boo him. Peach, I can't speak for Peach though. How are you feeling, Peach? Are you going to let bygones be bygones? Is it water under the bridge with Holmgren now?
Unicorns aren't real.
They are not. I thought I wasn't going to have to talk about this man giraffe anymore, but I guess here we are. So yeah, I don't necessarily think he tanked the workout. I think there's a little bit of wordplay going here, but because there were so many questions about him to begin with. Why would he tank a workout that might add to the questions that already existed about him? It definitely is strange that he wouldn't want to work out to be on a team with his buddy and go run it back in the NBA. They seemed like they wanted to do that. You saw them both kind of posting stuff that led you to believe that they might want that. But I think deep in his heart, he knew that the Magic weren't going to pick him. And I think I think his staff that promoted him, they are the smartest people in the whole wide world because they are trying to sell people something that is just not that nice. And they had everybody believing that he needs to be this high a pick. And I don't think he wanted the pressure of being number one pick either. So I think he feels like I can hide in OKC. They're not LA. They're not New York. No one's going to really get on me in the media here. They're going to give me time to grow, which is probably better for him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because in 3 or 4 years down the road, he might be a much better player. But New York, LA, they wouldn't give him that. If he went number one, we'd be pissed after a couple of years.
And it's funny because in all retrospect, it's like Chet Holmgren was made for the Orlando Magic, like in terms of who the media believes is our standard prospect in the draft. Him being so close to Jalen Suggs and they just assumed that this was the case, and the fact that it didn't happen, I get the reason why people see it that way. And it just seems like the national media, they like poking fun any chance that they get. If there's a way to poke at the Orlando Magic, they find a way to do it, and they do it collectively, which I find a little frustrating.
Yeah, some type of conspiracy happening.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to put up our haters, get in there, and be like, "Come on, man, give some love."
Exactly. Now, some I guess I don't want to call it news, but in the big podcast with Shaquille O'Neal made some comments that made a little noise. I feel like Orlando Magic, we just been in the media a lot lately, which is amazing. But in this podcast, Shaquille O'Neal said that he really wants the DeVos family to sell the Orlando Magic to him and to Dennis Scott and to billionaire buddies. Now, the biggest debate that we've seen is you have another topic where it feels like it's civil war. You got half of the fan base that think that this is an amazing idea, that we should do it. Then you have the other half that, I agree with the most, that we shouldn't do it. In Shaq's mind, the way that he would run things is he would just own the team, and he would make Dennis Scott his general manager, Shaquille O'Neal wouldn't make any decisions at all. It would just be Dennis Scott, because they're able to, with telepathy, be able to, he would do exactly what Shaquille O'Neal would do because he trusts him so much. So Kyle, I'm gonna throw it to you. Would selling the Orlando Magic to a player like Shaquille O'Neal, or to Shaquille O'Neal specifically, would that be a right move? Would you want the Orlando
I
Magic?
mean, I'm not the right person to start this question off, because I don't want to talk about politics, but I'm a teacher, and Betsy DeVos tried to torpedo the education system in the United States. So if I would sell anyone can own it besides the DeVos family, honestly. I really don't care. So selling to Shaq would be great. I mean, just think of the halftime antics with stuff. I mean, look at that.
Sell it to me.
He's an icon. Wait, is that Shaq? Is that Shaq?
Yes. I'm on the show. Give it to me. I turned Papa John's around. I can turn this franchise around.
Good impression. It's impressive. He's had that bobblehead in the room where you guys record your episodes for how long now? You've never seen it?
Yeah. He doesn't usually come over to this side of the room now.
Yeah.
He's like that elf. He's like that elf.
Toys over there.
I changed the background and stuff in here a lot, and I don't think he notices.
I never notice. I never notice.
No idea. Right, so Peach, does that mean that you're for Shaquille O'Neal owning the Magic?
Yeah, I'd be for it. I mean, I think he's a really good businessman. Look, not only did I joked, but honestly, he turned Papa John's around from a scandal that was going to go bad, and he literally turned them around and kept them on the pizza map. I mean, you don't just do that overnight. And I mean, look, General used to be a car insurance we all laughed at, but now we take him seriously. It's all because of Shaquille O'Neal, and he can do the same thing for the Orlando Magic too.
Yeah, Icy Hot. You're right, Peach. You're right.
Let's do it. Icy Hot. As long, great example.
Just don't touch Weltman Hammond.
Exactly.
If you're gonna buy the team, just don't do that.
But those are his intentions, is to fire John Hammond with Dennis Scott in there. Those are his intentions. Al,
no.
Al, help me out here, because I'm losing right now. What do you think?
I would sell it to, any basketball player group that wants to buy the Magic, door in a heartbeat, man. We need that support. We need that as a tool for us to attract more free agents, for guys that want to come to Orlando and really be involved in the community. The DeVos family does a great job, with voluntary work and nonprofits, but they're not here. They're from Michigan somewhere. They spend most of the time there, and they only have teams that they own here. So I think that we need guys that are involved. My dream scenario would be Shaq, T-Mac, and Vince get together, buy the team, go from there.
Wow, there you go.
All right, so dang, I can't even count on you, Al. I
think he's supposed to be on my side.
So
the voice of reason, Anthony.
I know. Here are my.
Who's the cloud now?
My goodness. So, I don't care about the DeVos. Sell the team. Just don't sell it to Shaq. I think Michael Jordan is the perfect example of a basketball player that owns a team. Who is waiting in line to go and play for the Charlotte Hornets? Who has Michael Jordan brought in that you're just wow, Michael Jordan did that? So if Michael Jordan can't do it, who?
Kwame Brown, the legend, NBA champion.
Here we go. So if Michael Jordan can't do it, then as much success as Papa John's has had, Icy Hot, the General, as much success as they had, I just don't see it happening. This whole thought process of, I'm just gonna bring Dennis Scott in to be the general manager, and then he's just gonna read my mind, and we're gonna live in a perfect world. Yeah, he was a part owner of the Sacramento Kings, which till this day I find really weird, because he hated the Kings.
Yes.
And what did he do for them? Sacramento, and granted, I know that haven't been the greatest for a long time, but they have been way worse than we have. They're still bad. So if his name doesn't bring in free agency, if what he did from Sacramento as a track record isn't good, and then he just wants to own the team and have Dennis Scott do everything for him, I just don't see the benefit of it. I agree. I agree with all of you.
What about that? It's fun.
Or somebody else, as long as you keep the team in Orlando. What's that?
No, Anthony doesn't like.
What about that? It's fun.
No, it's
fun.
All right, that's fine. It's raining in Orlando right now.
Okay.
No, man. And so the most important thing is you can't touch John Hammond and Jeff Walton.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of the front office. I can debate about that with anyone all day. I love where the team is right now, and nobody is messing that up. Zero. And then on top of that, just keep the team in Orlando. Like there was at one point in time where we were almost a Kansas City Magic. That would have been terrible. It doesn't even sound good.
There's
So
no
as long as you
spirit
keep
in
the team
that
in
town.
Orlando.
There's no heartbeat pounding in the streets there. They wouldn't know what to do with this team.
Yeah, I've never been in Kansas City, but I would just imagine it'd be like Oklahoma City.
Probably.
All right, so very, very similar to Paolo. We're gonna do this or that with you guys, and we're just gonna alternate between you and Peach. So the very first one, if both are healthy, who starts at the 4, Paolo or Jonathan Isaac?
This is
Jonathan Isaac,
Oh,
baby.
man.
Let's go.
Why?
Let's go.
I
why?
put that question in there for a really good
Specifically.
reason.
You're trying to start a conflict, Al. All right.
Yes.
All right. He's the instigator. Al's the instigator.
So,
I got it.
Explain. So elaborate. Why is
yeah.
it that the second worst team in the NBA, who
Uh-huh.
by the luck of everything lucky, gets the number 1 pick, draft Paolo?
Mhm.
Why should the number 1 pick come off the bench in your mind?
He's got to develop character, Anthony.
Oh,
He's got to develop that character. He's got to earn it. Now, I am getting bashed pretty hard in the comments. We talked about this on our show recently, and people came after me and let me know that I'm just psychotic, and maybe I am. But that pre-injury Jonathan Isaac just was so magnificent as a player. I mean, the way that he defends, he's a defensive player of the year candidate. I really, he was in the top 3 mix. I mean, he was blocks per game, like him and Rudy Gobert, 1 and 2. And not only that, he was starting to step out. I mean, he got injured on like a Euro step. So he was like really diversifying his game, driving the rock. He was shooting. I mean, Weltman has said that he's really been shooting it well. He looks good. So if that is true, and if he is, has an improved shot and his defense is still there, and this question says healthy, so I'm assuming he's the same player that I saw, which is probably not true. Maybe not the beginning of the season, but I jest a little bit here, but I do think there's something in making Paolo earn it. Suggs said that at the beginning of the year last year, that he was expecting to come off the bench, Suggs said, and he was okay with that, and he wanted to earn it. And I want to see that type of humility and that kind of dog from Paolo. I want to see him really get after it. Now, is there a lineup that could see both of them side by side? That's not the question. I'm trying to, manipulate it a little bit. But I just really love what J.I. brings, and I think that, I think people are sleeping, and I hope he's still that same player, because, man, I love watching that guy play.
Yeah, this is definitely Al's equivalent of poking us with a stick and being like, do something, because you used a lot of words there to describe stuff. And I feel like whenever you have to use that many words to describe it, it usually means you're trying to really sell it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen this guy play in a couple of years. I don't know what he's going to be, but you draft a guy number 1, the fans want to see him out there. There's no way he doesn't start. It seems that simple to me. This is the second dumbest question Magic fans are asking lately, right after all those people that a lot of them are on Facebook forums, by the way, where they're suggesting that Markelle Fultz should not be starting for us and that guy can't play anymore. And it's just like, what? Like, I can't with you people right now. So this one, to me, I just kind of like, yeah, he starts. There's no question about it.
So J.I. comes off the bench. That's pretty sexy too, though.
Cool. He's familiar with the bench. He spent a lot of time there. He'll get it.
Oh, damn. Okay.
All right. So that was controversial. Let's go to number 2 now. Same thing. Going back to you guys.
Wait, you guys haven't answered it. I want to know what you think.
It's all about you guys. It's all about you guys
okay.
today.
Okay. Way to avoid, Al. Way to avoid.
So, number 2, Suggs or Cole, who starts at the 2 opening night?
I think they might go with Cole on opening night, but I think in the long run it will be Suggs. But I could probably make an argument either way. But gun to my head, I'm going with Cole. I think, just because of the intangibles he brings and being such a face of this league, and getting in the workouts with a bizarrely panted Banchero already. I don't know how anyone does a basketball workout in pants, by the way, especially ones that colorful. Kyle, to you.
I was at the Nets game that we played when Jalen came out on fire, nailed like 3 or 4 3-pointers, dropped like 20 in the first half. I'm on the Suggs train just because I think, I don't know, looking at him last year, I don't know that he's a point guard. I think that he's just tremendous on the defense, and I love that lineup. I love him in the 2 guard as a defender as well. So I think Cole coming off the bench was better to be the guard and run that second unit. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how Jamal Mosley manipulates these lineups this year, but I'd go with Suggs starting 2 guard day one.
Yeah, I think that Suggs would end up starting, but I think that Cole Anthony would definitely get more of the bulk of the minutes. Like if it's a close game and we're ending it out, I think Cole Anthony would be in the game more so.
You think at the end of the game, he's just kind of been a defensive liability for me at times.
Exactly. Yeah, the switches we have when he's in the game sometimes are just maddening.
Horrible. Yeah, he seems to always get pinned on someone down low. I don't get it.
Yeah, my only fear with it is just the shooting. I think that that's the one thing that Cole is able to bring over Suggs, and maybe really just depends on who we're playing and if we see improvements from Markelle as well. Because my fear is that you have Markelle and you have Jalen Suggs and they're both not hitting, then that's where it becomes a little problematic, where now the floor isn't as spaced out as you want it to be. So maybe it just depends on who it is that we're playing against, but I can still see Cole Anthony getting a bulk of the minutes.
But Jonathan Isaac's been working on his 3-point shot, so he's going to be out there.
He has to, because he can't use his lower body. So now, if you can only keep one, would you keep Devin Cannady or Bobo?
Same answer for both here. Yeah,
Devin Cannady. Let's go.
He said hello to you at a Lakeland Magic game we went to.
Yeah, he was nice to me, so he wins. He was. I don't know Bobo. Does anyone know what Bobo is? I don't know. I think
he's a guy who never uses a plate. I know that, but he looks really good in clips you see. But I mean,
he does.
They made Hartenstein look amazing to me for the last couple of days, saying we were going to get him. So I mean, clips. It's hard to believe him, but I think if like Bull to me was Chet Holmgren. So I'm like, well, let's just go with one or the other here. We don't need to waste the draft pick of the guy we got.
Yeah, I think as a team, we need the shooting more. Devin Cannady is one of the best shooters in the G League. We've pretty stout now at the 4-5, which Bull will be playing. So I think we go pretty deep there already. Bull seems kind of expendable. I don't foresee him coming back as a Magic this year.
I would love to use a two-way on him. At the very least, if there's one thing that I've said multiple times is that I have not been a fan of the way that we've utilized our two-way. I don't feel like they've been used as a development contract tool. I believe that they were used as kind of a replacement during our tanking, kind of like the replacements, and I feel like they've successfully have done that. But if you're looking to develop somebody, I think that Bobo should be your project. If we really love projects the way that we've shown that we really do love projects, here you go. Here's your project. Work on it, develop them, and we'll see what happens. I think that the small sample size that we've seen in summer leagues and a little bit of play during the Nuggets, I think that there's something there. I don't know what it is, but it's there. And I think that at the very least, and we should at least try it out and see what happens, unless another team is willing to give him a contract.
Yeah, there's nothing to lose by taking a shot. I agree.
Yeah. All right, guys, last one for this segment. So I think I know the answer to this one, but I'll still ask it. So bring back a vet. We need vets in this team right now, right? You can only bring one, MCW or our good friend, Robin Lopez.
Please.
They need
show them the jersey.
There it is.
Yeah, we need the intro for our podcast, man.
Is that a Robin Lopez jersey? That is not a Robin Lopez jersey. Did you pay full price? Did you pay full price?
I got it from a dealer. It may or may not be official.
Yeah, I mean, I think Robin Lopez, just for the halftime antics alone and just the interactions with stuff, that was worth it in this tough season. Some of those little exchanges were hilarious.
I got to be honest. MCW was on the team during the Aaron Gordon years, which is a little bit of I was not really following the team much then because I didn't care for Aaron Gordon. So I didn't really see him play a lot with us, but I did respect his game. I remember seeing him play a little bit with the Bucks and some other teams. But it's got to be Robin here. If just not for the side show he brings. I'm into fun.
I can't believe you have a Robin Lopez jersey. I don't know why I just saw that now.
That's amazing. Everybody has.
I respect
everybody has one of those jerseys of their team that, like, when you walk by people, they go, "Why does he even have that?" This is mine.
He signed a 1-year contract.
Yeah. He's near and dear to our heart, Anthony.
I'm impressed.
He was a big part of the show, so I figured I gotta have one.
I like it. All right. So last and final one for our closeout. There's a lot of excitement with the number 1 pick. We're bringing players back. We're going to see, sophomore year Franz Wagner. We're hoping that these guys are developed. Are we looking at play-in or are we looking at lottery? Kyle.
I think play-in. If I had to bet, but I lost a bet on our win total last year. So I think we can be a play-in contender for sure. Because you don't really need that many wins to actually even get into the play-in conversation. So I think some of these other teams are going to stumble and fall. They made some weird moves, and it opens up a spot for a young, hard team that's going to be going at it all year and is ready to. I mean, we had a great record. When you look at what we did after the All-Star break, we were a different team. And we're healthier now, and everybody's back. And we just added the number 1 pick. How can you figure that's not at least worth 10, maybe 15 wins better? But even 10 gets you in the conversation. So I say play.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what our over-under is. 35, 36 wins, I would think, at least. And if we're there, then we're in the conversation. I'm hoping we're more in the play-in than the lottery. If we're having this conversation maybe a year from now, and we're at the end of the season and we're closer to the lottery, something has gone horribly, horribly wrong, friends. Horribly, horribly wrong.
And hopefully I don't want to be injuries.
Yeah. Oh, geez. Knock on wood, man.
Yeah, I think
this has got to be the year we all stay healthy and we see what we have here. This is a really important year for us and to see what we have. And then next year, that's when I think Weltman and Hammond are really going to put the finishing touches and put the puzzle together for us. So play-in, let's go.
So you guys know too that I'm reading some rumors now here on Twitter and stuff saying that there might be a situation where the Gary Harris and Mo Bamba contracts may be 1-1, meaning the second year of the contract is not guaranteed because they do want to keep the flexibility for next year. They keep talking about that. They want to be players in free agency next year. So to your point, this year is huge for us. We got to stay healthy. We got to know what young guys truly belong, what guys we can package, and who just simply does not belong. So I think to your point, it's a crucial year. And I think if we can stay healthy, win some games, we can get some answers. Because if we can go after some good free agents next season, all of a sudden we're players. We're going to be one of the top 5 teams in the East, and we're back to that again. But if injuries are an issue, it's going to, again, just slow us down again.
Kyle and Peach, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Definitely a lot of fun. For those that aren't familiar with you guys, where can they find your episodes? Where can they find you on social media?
We're Court Cousins. We're on every platform, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff. At Court_Cousins on Twitter and Instagram. Really appreciate you guys having us on. You guys are pros. Been listening to you for years. This is kind of like a little dream come true here for me. I can't really believe that I'm here and we just had this conversation. Love listening to you guys. Thank you for everything you do for the community, man.
Absolutely. We definitely love your show. If you haven't listened, definitely check them out. On that note, it's a wrap. We'll catch you guys next week.
Thank you for listening to the OZone Podcast, the voice of Magic fans. For all the latest Orlando Magic news and updates, follow us on Twitter at the OZone Pod and on Instagram at Orlando Magic HQ. Remember to subscribe and leave a 5-star review on all your favorite podcast listening platforms.